Good day, fellow Marties. My name is Marsha Lina Cleophas, and I'm the head of the Disability Unit. And I'm going to speak to you about the services that the Disability Unit offers at Stellenbosch University. The ethos of the Disability Unit is to create an accessible environment that would holistically empower our students in curricular and co-curricular spaces. We consist of 9 staff members. Some of them work full-time, some of them work part-time in our office, and they perform a range of services, such as having consultations with you, speaking to you about your specific academic needs, your joys, your difficulties, and some of the staff also assist students in making their text accessible. Our disability unit is spread across 2 buildings. The one building you'll see on the left is at 39 Victoria Street, and the other building is the resource office, and that is where the texts are made accessible. Our rich diversity means a lot to us. We recognize that students vary in terms of their vision, their hearing, their mobility, their processing of information. Students, we are all different. And so we really look at our student in the uniqueness, in the humanity, and also acknowledge what it is that they bring to the university. So our facilitation and the work we do is at the start of the year, we will do in January an orientation session. We also co-facilitate and, look at the test and exam concessions applications when students apply for that. We look at individual academic support, and that is what we'll do in consultation with you, and depending on what your specific needs are and your faculty, or in your faculty regarding academic work. We also work with the Facilities Management Department about physical accessibility on campus, to ensure that, whether you are in the residence spaces or moving around campus, maybe in your academic buildings, that, if there are difficulties and challenges, then we also advocate on your behalf to facilities management to ensure that areas are accessible. And then another very important part of our work is the training and awareness raising that we do, and that is with staff and with students, and a little bit more about that later. So I've mentioned our orientation session that we have. It is done in a group format or in individual format. So if you want to rather speak to us individually, you just send us an email and we go ahead and we will do that. And then that is part of welcoming our first year. So when you choose to come to Marties, we will continue, and we will do that with you in a group format or individually. It is up to you and what your preference is. Then I spoke about the test and exam concession. So this is not carried over from high school. So if you were getting extra writing time, for example, at high school, then you have to apply again when you come to Stellenbosch University. This information will be made available in the welcoming booklet. There is a website that you'll go to on the undergraduate screen, and you can then, look for the test and exams session on this website and find the 3 forms that you then have to complete, and with your collateral information, and you can send it to that particular email address. And then I've mentioned that we really want to look at fully including our students with disabilities, and we really strive and try as much as we can to ensure this. Reading material we make accessible, advising about assistive technologies, and we do this in liaison with UMARGA. That is one of our computer user areas, and they are quite savvy with technologies and assistive technologies. And then we also liaise with the residence spaces, that is our Centre for Student Communities, especially with students that have mobility and maybe sensory or hearing visual impairments, to ensure that they get a correct residence placement. We liaise with faculties, and then we review the test and exam concessions, and of course the advocacy work that we do. We also do have South African Sign Language interpreters, not the disability unit itself, but our interpretation services at the Language Centre. They can provide South African Sign Language interpreters. just some visuals on the accessibility on our campus. So you will see that our library stairs, for example, we have white lines at the edge of the steps to make mobility easier if you have a visual impairment or are struggling with depth perception. This just makes it easier to navigate the stairs. Some of our environments have tactile paving, so if you are blind and you need to move around, this can guide you in the right direction. And then you will see that on our right, we also have buildings that are constantly being upgraded and improved to be accessible to all people that use it. So it's not just about the students, but it could be your parents, it could be visitors, visiting lecturers, or visiting students that come to our university. So we want to ensure that our physical space is accessible. Some of our classes have induction loop systems, and this will be indicated with a sign. It's of an ear with a sort of line going through it. It's usually blue, and students who have hearing impairments can then access sound much better within the classroom context. We do have hubs, so all students, if you're not in a residence, you will belong to a cluster, and the cluster would have a sort of a hub area or a social area where you can go during the day. You don't know what to do, it's in between classes, you don't want to go to the library, so there will be an area that you can go to where there are facilities like microwaves and where you can just chill. And here we show the Victoria Hub as an example. It's one of our newest hubs in Victoria Street, and it's near our Monica residence. And then we also have our Braille Center, or our Braille Room, Lombardi Braille Room. It's also at UMARGA that I mentioned before, and there will be computers and keyboards that are accessible to certain software such as JAWS, which you'll see here, and that is usually for students with visual impairments or who struggle with seeing. They can't see the text, so they'll be able to hear the text through the JAWS software and screen reading software. The induction loop system, that is what it looks like. You'll see a sign, and the sign would mean that that room or that area has an induction loop system. And if you are deaf, it helps with hearing. And then we also have Domino Pro, which is a software or a technological device for students that are deaf, and it also enables better hearing in the classroom. So you would wear a part of the device, and the lecturer would wear that, and that would have a sender and a receiver function. And then at the bottom we have Read and Write, and Read and Write is really software for students who struggle with reading or putting together text, and it would help you, would guide you along. There'll be color coding, it would read the text that you are busy typing out, and it will also just read over the text if hearing, if you have some challenges like with ADHD or any kinds of other challenges. So it helps you just with reading and writing. And then at this point, I have mentioned that we do quite a bit of training from the disability unit and awareness raising. It's part of our core work that we do. And I'm going to hand over to Luigi Nicholas, who will tell you all about the activities.
Thank you, Marsha. And yes, as Marsha mentioned, I'm Luigi Nicholas. I work with the training and advocacy work at the university. And with regards to our training and advocacy, we do have a dynamic student involvement. So our students are very important to us, and getting our students involved in workshops is a key message that we like to send out to staff or students when we do the training, because the students have personal experiences and first-hand experience on how to make the space more inclusive. So we try to get our students involved through the Lead with Disability program, and then also getting them involved within the program to share their experiences with other students and how our students, student leaders, can make the space more inclusive for our students with disabilities on campus. We also have the sign language courses, which is offered by the SU Language Center, and that is available to staff and students and visitors at the university as well. With regards to training and advocacy work, we also have specific training for student leadership on campus. So our student leaders, the SRC, the House Committee members and mentors all receive training on disability inclusion and also the services offered by the Disability Unit. We also get asked by the students to have tailored sessions at the residences or PSOs with their students to make the space more inclusive of students with disabilities. We also do various trainings with staff members on campus, and those trainings are tailor-made for the specific environment. So it can be within different divisions on a specific topic or on their processes on how to make their space more inclusive of potential students or current students with disabilities, just to give them some information on disability inclusion within their space. And then a big part of our work is also awareness raising and campaigns. So one of our big campaigns each year is the Casual Day campaign, which is a national campaign, but at Stellenbosch University we also like to create an event specifically for the institution to raise awareness around disability inclusion and disability issues in the country, and that is across the whole university. But we also have other tailor-made campaigns for the environments, depending on what the environment needs at the time. And this is our contact information, so please do follow us on our social media pages. We are available on Facebook and Instagram if you'd like to contact us, but you can also send us an email at disability@sun. If you have any questions as a prospective student or current student or future Marty, we are always welcome to receiving emails and any information that you'd like to share with us. And you can visit us at 39 Victoria Street, as Marsha mentioned. And you can also find more information on the Disability Unit at our website. Thank you.